Imagine you have a best friend named Jolie, and for the past couple of weeks, she has been constantly complaining that her stomach hurts. So, being the amazing best friend that you are, of course, you decide that, hey, maybe you should take a pregnancy test. And she completely denies the fact that she could be pregnant because every single time she has sex, she uses protection. But just to be safe, she's like, whatever. I'll take the test. And it comes to find out that Jolie is 2 weeks pregnant. And she immediately starts breaking down because she cannot afford to have a baby right now. And also, she just simply doesn't want one in this point of her life. So, you offer that maybe she can get an abortion and you'll even take her to the abortion clinic. And so after a day of Jolie deciding on what she wants to do, she ends up getting the abortion. And due to the viability and sentience view, her act of getting an abortion was completely justified. Hi, my name is Naya Tomlin, and today I'm going to be talking about the viability and sentience view on abortion. And both of these views are moderate views, so they both believe it is morally permissible to have an early abortion for any reason at all, while having a late abortion is deemed wrong. But there are different circumstances that having a late abortion would be justified. So, first, let's talk about the issues with the conservative and liberal views, and that's kind of how we got to the moderate view in the first place. So, the conservatives believe that it is morally impermissible to have an abortion for any reason that it may be, while the liberals they try and fight for the fact that having an abortion is morally permissible for whatever reason that you want to have an abortion. And so the issue with these two absolute views is that they fail to take consideration the drastic changes that happen between the point of conception, the zygote, the embryo, and then the fetus. So you have the pro conservatism, and they say that the fetus has a serious moral right to life, thus making it morally wrong to kill said fetus. And so at the point of conception, the zygote has human DNA, making it a functioning organism, causing it to have a serious moral right to life. But there are some instances in which having an abortion or killing the fetus would be morally permissible. So that would make the conservative view that it is almost always morally impermissible to have an abortion, not that it is always morally impermissible to have an abortion. And then you have the pro-life liberalism, and they say that the fetus does not have a serious moral right to life, thus making it morally permissible to kill the fetus. And so they say that you can kill the fetus during any stage of the pregnancy, and they even support having an abortion at the early birthing stages, but they failed to actually take in consideration the specific gestational changes and the drastic gestational changes that occur during pregnancy. So, what exactly is the viability view? So, the viability view is made of the viability criterion, the implications of abortion, and then the personal identity argument. So, first, let's start off with the viability criterion. And so, this criterion basically sets a standard for what causes for something to have a serious moral right to life. And so, this says that X has a serious moral right to life if X is a functioning independently of the mother. So, most people would say that a newborn baby has a serious moral right to life. And thus, since a newborn baby and a viable fetus, they look similar and a viable fetus exists independently, it would also have a serious moral right to life, making it morally impermissible to kill said fetus. And so the implications of abortion, it really ties this whole criterion to the issue of abortion. And so with this criterion, it says that it is always morally permissible to have an early abortion for the reasons of therapeutic reasons, which is to save the life of the mother, for eugenic reasons because of the abnormality in the fetus, for reasons that you are not able to financially support said fetus, and then also for elective reasons, just for the mere choice if you wanted to have an abortion. And also with this criterion, it says that it is morally impermissible to have a late abortion, but there are some exceptions to which having a late abortion is supported, such as reasons of eugenic, therapeutic, and in the cases of rape. And it's actually found that a lot of women between the ages of 20 and 24 are much more likely to have a late abortion than women between the ages of 25 and 34. And there are a lot of reasons for this. One of the biggest reasons is for logistical delays, and it's because they couldn't find a place to get a said abortion or to find somebody to give them the abortion. And a lot of times they weren't able to financially provide for said fetus. And a lot of the times these women are in domestic households, and this is the first time that they are going to be giving birth to a live fetus, meaning that their other pregnancies unfortunately did pass away. And then, like I said, the very last one is the personal identity argument. And so this ties in the whole criterion to humans. And so this argument begins with a tiny experiment. And let's say you're in a class and the professor says, introduce yourself to the person next to you. After the conversation, your professor would say, is that person still the same person? And you would say yes, because nothing about them has changed. And so essentially, what the whole argument is that I, a human, have a serious moral right to life. And thus, any other organism that has similar properties or characteristics as me would also have a serious moral moral right to life, making it wrong to kill us. And also, I am an independently functioning organism. And since with this criterion, it says that I have a serious moral right to life, if I'm functioning independently, then I have a serious moral right to life. And other things that also are functionally independently organisms just like me would also have a serious moral right to life. And since the third trimester fetus is a functionally independent organism, it has a serious moral right to life, whereas the first trimester fetus does not function independently, and so it would be morally permissible to kill it. Next is the sentience view. Now, just like the viability view, we have the sentience criterion, its implications on abortion, but instead of a personal identity argument, we have the hedonistic consequentialist argument. And so, what is the sentience criterion? Now, the sentience criterion, just like the previous criterion, states what causes for somebody to have a serious moral right to life. But in this instance, X has a serious moral right to life if and only if X is sentient. An example of sentience is experiencing pleasure or pain. So, if something has the capabilities of experiencing pleasure or pain, then it will be wrong to kill such being. Now, what are its implications on abortion? Just like the viability view, they believe that having an early abortion is morally permissible, always morally permissible, while having a late abortion is morally impermissible. And they present the same reasons just like the viability view. But where these two differ is that this actually draws a moral standing on abortion. And so what this means is that it essentially associates and defines what is a early abortion and what is a late abortion. And so early abortion is when the fetus is in the first trimester and the beginning of the second trimester, while a late abortion is when the fetus is in the third trimester and the end of the second trimester. But just like the viability view, there are instances in when having a late abortion is morally acceptable, just like for the reasons of therapeutic, eugenic, and in the cases of rape. But probably the biggest question is, what is the hedonistic consequentialist argument? So essentially, Sumner is the person that created this view, by the way, but Sumner believes that if a criterion is associated with a moral theory, then it makes it more credible. So in this case, it would be utilitarianism. And utilitarianism was created by John Mill and Jeremy Bentham. And essentially, this view is that a world that is filled with more pleasure is better than one filled without it. And so, all sentient beings, which are agents that can feel pleasure and pain, morally matter, specifically because they can experience pleasure. And so, this ties into the famous principle of utility, that one's actions should maximize the greatest happiness of most. And so, in cases where a fetus is the result of rape or incest, having an abortion would make the most amount of people happy because that is a very unfortunate event. And so, what maximizes utility would be different in different circumstances. So it is very possible that somebody that supports utilitarianism would support abortion because they may support factors that limit reproduction for a big reason of overpopulation. So they would support abortion or even technology that supports abortion as long as that funding for that technology does not undermine some technology that can be used for other causes. But of course, with any argument or opinion, there are going to be some objections. And so the first objection is for the viability criterion, and it's called the vegetative life objection. And this objection goes back to saying that the viability criterion says that something has a serious moral right to life if it is an independently functioning organism. But humans are not the only independently functioning organisms. So are plants, such as flowers, trees, and grass. And so, by this criterion, they would have a serious moral right to life. Thus, picking a fruit off of a tree, cutting flower off of a stem, or even stepping on grass would be morally impermissible because we would be killing said plant. But we have to pick fruits and harvest vegetables in order to eat, and that's a key factor of survival. And also, we step on grass and even small little plants every single day without even noticing it. So telling somebody that they can't do these things because it's morally impermissible is a little bit absurd. And then the second objection is for the sentience criterion, and this is called the gradient sentience objection. And so this puts a bit of a standard on sentience. And so just because something has sentience doesn't necessarily mean that it automatically has a serious moral right to life. In this case, it would have to have a higher degree of sentience, just like humans, to have a serious moral right to life, thus making it morally wrong to kill it. And animals, they don't have a higher degree of sentience, so it would be morally okay to kill them because they would not have a serious moral right to life. But the issue is that we weren't compared a late-term fetus with a small animal. So if we're using this, then it would be morally permissible to kill said fetus because it doesn't have a high degree of sentience, and that wouldn't make this a moderate view. In conclusion, the sentience and viability view make up the moderate view on abortion, and both of these views state that it is morally permissible to have an early abortion for any reason whatsoever. While having a late abortion is morally impermissible, but they both have come to an understanding that there are certain reasons on which having a late abortion is acceptable, such as therapeutic, eugenic, and even in the cases of rape. And a lot of people seem to find themselves siding with these views, while others think that they're completely absurd to saying that humans are not the only thing that are independently functioning organisms, and that if you apply a graded standard to sentience, then this isn't even a moderate view at all. So, honestly, it's up to you to decide. Do you agree with these views? Are you more on the side with the objections?